Good. Hi, hi, hi. Hey, good afternoon. We're here again. Tanya, we're not hearing you.
Oh, are you hearing me now?
Yes, go right ahead.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are so excited to have you join us today. We were so pumped after
Yeah,
yesterday's
yeah.
session, and we were thinking, oh my gosh, we may have to continue this longer than we anticipated. But
Yes.
we're just so happy to be here to share, and we do acknowledge, I just have to say this, Janice, we do acknowledge that these 5 days is just 20 minutes of us just sharing off the cuff. And so we do recognize that there is so much deeper, so many other things that we could get into. But what we really want to do is just add you some quick value, not to overwhelm you, that you can
Mm-hmm.
walk away from this week with some nuggets to get you going. So,
Some
Daniel,
actionable
ready to go?
nuggets. Yes, some
Yes.
actionable nuggets. And um, if you're new here, for those people who are on the live or people who are watching after, I'm Janice Dakers Jones, and I'm a business coach. And with me is my friend.
And I'm Tanya Powell, and I'm a leadership and personal development coach. And we are on a mission. We are on a mission to transform our lives and to transform the lives of others. So we're excited.
Exactly. So today we're talking about something that is really huge. It's not something that maybe we grew up hearing about or talking about. As Tanya said yesterday, we may touch on a little woo woo, but it's not woo woo, guys. Trust me. Nothing about today's topic is woo woo. Today we're talking about mindset, and mindset is is that thing that automatic thing that drives you, that in some cases you're not even aware of, but it's how you make your decisions, it's how you respond to things, it's how it's how you move forward, how you see yourself in the world, how you deliver yourself to the world. And if you're anticipating or thinking about starting a business, or even pushing yourself forward in the corporate
That drives
environment.
you. That some in some cases.
I'm hearing an echo. Why am I hearing an
No,
echo?
sorry, that was me.
Oh, okay, right. Hey, Judith. And it's that thing that would cause us to do or not do things. And so mindset is like Tanya's zone of genius. So today you're gonna
Oh.
hear lots from Tanya, and I'll jump in every now and again.
No,
But
you'll be jumping in
welcome.
lots.
And by the way, we welcome your comments. We welcome your questions. Just jump in, ask a question, we will respond. So, Tanya, talk to us. What is mindset and why is it important?
Yeah, thank you, Janice. Before I jump in, I think Judith was on the live yesterday. Hey, Judith, you amazing, amazing woman. Hey, Denise. Um, Judith raised it yesterday, around when we made the disclaimer about corporate, and someone watched the replay and DM'd me and said, well, Tanya, I feel like I need to be in this conversation, but it's not about entrepreneurship for me. I love where I'm at, but I know that there is a next level. And in fact, just yesterday's conversation got me thinking about becoming the CEO of where
Wow.
I'm at. And I'm like, listen, I am in the business of creating women CEOs. We got to talk about that. But as I was speaking to her, I decided, Janice, that we're gonna add another category. So we started off by talking to, the persons. If you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, if you have already launched something and you're new at it, if you have been at it for a while and you know that there is a next level, and now we want to add intrapreneur. We want to add entrepreneur to the list. So if you are within a company, if you're within corporate, but you're responsible for building your business. So for example, if you're a salesperson, like an insurance person or wealth advisor, so you're responsible for building your book of business, then you're an entrepreneur, building a portfolio within. So welcome aboard to all the entrepreneurs also. So Janice, where I start with the conversation is I want to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
One of my mentors always says, just keep it simple. And so, I'm going to just share from 3 points today. And the first one is decide, because everything starts when we make a decision. In Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the starting point of anything is a decision. And when we talk about decision, we talk about making that commitment to the decision, honoring it. So it's not coming from a place of, well, I'm gonna try something, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna go back. You
Right.
gotta make that committed decision that this is it. This is my life. One of the coaches I listen to, says, so what energy are we coming from when we even make this decision? Is it, I'm all in this entrepreneur thing as long as I can get
Right.
chance, as long as things
Yeah.
are going right, as long as, or are we making the decision to be in it no matter what? Because yesterday you spoke about my why. Why am I doing this? And so the decision becomes, what is that vision? What is that vision that we're holding for what it is that we want to create? And when we get to Thursday, when we're talking about dreaming bigger, then we'll understand why that vision
It's
becomes very
so
important.
critical.
So
So
critical.
critical. Yeah.
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 Your vision. So, your vision is something that needs to pull you. Too many times we find ourselves in a space of doing something or working for someone, or I'm trying something, and things are pushing me.
Right.
And when we get pushed, other than being pulled by a
Cool.
vision,
Mm-hmm.
we have a way of making adjusting. So I know, let me tell you the story quickly. I know you know the story of the young man who went to visit his neighbor who had a dog, and they're having this conversation on the patio. The dog is on the patio. He's moaning and he's groaning and he's moaning and he's groaning, until eventually the young man says, well, why is this dog groaning so much? And the old man says, well, he's lying on a nail. So if he's lying on a nail, why doesn't he get up?
Good up, right?
Like, dog, get up off the nail. The old man says, well, maybe it's not sticking him hard enough. And so we also have to ask ourselves in our lives, what are those little nails that are at us that somehow we find a way to make things comfortable? You ever lie down in bed yet and it's not the most comfortable, but you kind of shuffle? Or at the end of the month when we get the paycheck and it's not stretching, but somehow we find a way to make it, that kind of, what's the decision am I making around my life? Yeah.
And Tanya, I want to just take it back just a little bit. There's some things in our lives that, as I said, they operate from the subconscious. You're not even aware that they operate there.
Mm-hmm.
So just to even referencing that, the nail, very often that nail is something that it was a decision that was made very long ago, and we made a decision to live with it, but
Mm-hmm.
it might not have been an optimal decision. And we end up with something like, well, it's in my family, or that's how I am, or
That's how the thing set.
that's how the thing said, and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
your point about a decision is really powerful. So it's really about stepping back and just taking a look at, what are my values? How do I make decisions? How do I respond to stuff? Start to just, I call it my outer body experience. So stop and take a look at yourself and say, well, why did you do that, Janice? What's driving that? Is it being driven, as you said, Tanya, or is something pulling you? And
Yeah.
very often we're being driven. We're
We have
being
been
driven
driven.
by past decisions. And so this whole process requires you to now step back and kind of just start to look at yourself. And look at yourself in the corporate setting, and when somebody says something, how you respond. Look at what happens when a customer does something and how you respond. Just start to look at yourself. Even as an entrepreneur, you might hide away from things, and you might, so like, I don't like accounts, and so there, for some reason, there was something about numbers and a decision you made way down in your life, and so even though this is so necessary for your business, you say, well, me and the numbers not friend, and this is a big part of
Yes.
building a business. So
Yeah.
start to take a look at you know all the things that we're too comfortable with, that doesn't serve us, and start to look for the things that are going to pull you, and not the things that push you.
I'm so happy you said that. So here's a little woo-woo part, guys. The first time I heard one of my coaches say, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual
Spiritual being.
beings having a
Mhm.
human experience. We're spiritual beings gifted with an intellect, living in a physical body. The first time I heard that, I was like, what? Come again? And as I got into this study, and it's about, and I see Denise making some connection there with our circumstances. It's about the recognition that we have a higher self. There's a higher self to who we are. So we've been conditioned, just as Denise is saying, we have been conditioned to see our circumstances, to live from our five senses. So we've been
Mhm.
conditioned to believe and to trust what we can see with our eyes,
Mhm.
what we can
Oh my
hear, what we can
gosh.
taste, what we can smell,
Word.
what we can touch. And so when we want to move away from the fear, Judith, from the nail, something is going to remind us that, but remember that the last time that you did that, this is what happened. But then if we believe that we're spiritual beings and we have, there's a higher
Creative
power,
power. And we have
we've
creative
been
power.
gifted with what we call our six intellectual faculties. And when we start to live from that, that's where we make the decision from our imagination, from our creativity.
Mhm.
What if? So, Monday, let me quickly share this. Monday, I was at University Hospital for a couple of hours, just follow ups. But as I was journaling, always walk with my books, always walk with my journal. My doctor thinks it's the most hilarious thing. And I just started to write, what if? What if I created the greatest, most incredible story of my life? Now, immediately, the chatter in the back of my head started to say, like, seriously? But I don't want us to run out of time before I finish this point. And that's where we have to get committed to the decision. So I want you to also read this book if you haven't. And it's The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of the things in there is about being impeccable with your word. We have a tendency to be a little bit more impeccable with our words with other people, but we break it so easily to ourselves. And so if we don't make that committed decision and be impeccable with our words to us, the moment we step out and we start to try something and something goes wrong, then it's easy for us to step back, right? I know we started the conversation by addressing, so that's the first part. We got to make that decision and commit to it and create the energy around it. I'm all in. And that's why on Thursday we're gonna talk about the vision that compels you, that pulls you, that's bigger than you, that
Mhm.
gets you up, that makes you so excited. And then the second thing we want to think about is belief. Now this is, for me, this is the biggie. So yesterday we started a conversation about confidence. A couple of things we gotta believe. We gotta believe in ourselves like nobody's business. And I think for a lot of us, especially women, um, that belief in who we are, in whose we are, in what we are purposed to do, has diminished,
Yeah.
for one reason or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is that we spent, our entire lifetime just caring for everybody else, and then we just kind of forgot who we are and our gifts and our talents. And so whatever we're stepping out, we gotta have that unwavering belief in self. We gotta trust in a higher power.
And
We can't
Tanya,
do it alone. Yeah.
yesterday we touched on the fact that, we're all here for a purpose. We're all here, and it's not about us, it's not for ourselves, it's to serve other people. And so in making that decision to live out your purpose, you are also making that decision to serve the people you are brought here to serve.
To
And
serve.
when you decide to step back, when you decide to shrink back, when you decide to allow fear and doubt and all of these things to stamp you down, to stop you or to stuff you into a corner, there are people out there who need you.
Yes.
There are people out there who need your genius. There are people who are waiting on you to jumpstart them into their purpose. And so we're all connected,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's not just about us. And I really had to make that point, because very often the fear is, I'm not good enough, I am this or I'm that, and all these things. But no,
I
it's
don't
not
know how
about
to
you.
do this.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
shut my mouth, it means that somebody else doesn't get to do what they need to do, because
Yeah.
they need to hear me and to hear my story.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I love that. And yesterday we also started talking about the confidence to step out, and even the confidence to even make such a decision, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and one of the things that came to me this morning is just a reminder, because even just getting into the conversation around fear alone and the terror barrier and the community, that's a whole nother conversation. But the biggest thing that I found in my life, especially last year and coming into this year, is that it's not about waiting until I build that self-confidence. It's not about waiting until I'm feeling confident about something. It's about believing and trusting that I am equipped and fully resourced, that I know what I'm doing, and taking that action. Because here's what happened. When I take action, then
Hmm.
it builds my confidence. Then my
Right.
confidence is built. Then
Yes.
I
Yes.
take a bigger action. And when I take a
Exactly.
bigger action, my confidence is built even more. But a big part of it, and I think you said it yesterday, is also the recognition that it may not work out how you planned or how you thought all the time, um, but we keep moving. And in fact, as I'm saying that, what if, so listen to this carefully now, what if we saw life as a grand experiment?
Mhm.
Then you can't fail.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
by the very nature of an
Of an
experiment
experiment.
is that you can't fail.
You
And
learn
so
something. All you're doing is learning.
you just learn it. I either win or I learn. I either win or I learn. So that belief, coupled with faith, unwavering faith, and I think Thursday we're really gonna give the nuggets of what to do, some of the practices that we do that keep us grounded, even in belief and being able to manage the fear. So I see Judith wrote writing about fear, the fear of not feeling in control and being able to step out, and we get that. And I want us to pause for a moment and not make fear the bad guy in the conversation. I want you to think about it this way. So we bask in the warmth of the sunshine, the warmth of it, because we know cold. We felt
Hmm.
cold.
Right.
Yeah. We are open, and we are open in the light because we were in the dark. The law of polarity, which governs the universe. In similar way, because we know fear, we can become courageous.
Mm.
And so this, the first time I heard this, I was like, what? It therefore doesn't suit us to get rid of fear. Because if we get rid of fear, how are we going to know the opposite, which is courage? And I'm like, oh, okay. The question is, how do we learn to lead ourselves and walk with that duality? So it comes back to, making that decision about what it is that we truly, truly want. And we're going to walk you through that decision-making process on Thursday.
Right.
Believing in who you are, whose you are, how you're purposed in your gifts, your talents, believing in a higher faith, you know what I mean? And then the third thing for me around just having this success is about becoming. You see, we don't, our goals are not set for us just to meet a goal, but who do we become in the
Mm-hmm.
process? How do we grow in the process? See, life's gonna have its ups and downs, but when we're in that down sink, last year, as I was going through my treatments and whatnot, and I was reading widely, didn't have anything else to do really. I came across this quote by Albert Einstein that says, adversity introduces man to himself. And sometimes it's when we're really in that hard knock place
Mm-hmm. That
that we
you really
really
learn about
learn how
yourself.
strong we are, how wise we are.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, wait a minute. You always hear stories about if something happens to a child, if a child is stuck under a car, how easily it is for the mother to lift that car off the child. But under normal circumstances, that
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's about walking with all of that in life. And
And
so, yeah,
the whole thing about becoming, it's progression, not perfection. You know,
exactly.
it's progression, and it goes back to your previous point about the fact that we either succeed or we grow.
Yeah,
It's and so there are going to be valleys, but it's what you do in the valleys that determine how long you stay in that valley. And so knowing this upfront and just understanding and just starting to condition your mind that, hey, this great big business that I'm thinking about, this thing that I want to do in my organization, it's not just going to come to me easily. It won't be a smooth road. It will not be. But the truth is that because I understand this upfront, and because Jenny Santana are going to provide you with some tools that will take you through, that will
yeah,
that will help you to manage these situations, then you're prepared. Vis-a-vis, you're going thinking, everything is going to be hunky-dory. This is my plan and it must work. you know you have to leave room and space for you to grow, because it's in those moments of adversity that you actually grow. So don't be afraid of it.
yes.
Embrace it, because the quicker you
What is it
embrace
that
it,
what
the
is it that they're saying? Calm seas a great sailor doth not make, or something to that effect.
exactly. We've,
Yeah,
we've been taught to fear problems, or we've been taught to fear adversity, but adversity actually makes us better. It's the same story of the diamond and how it becomes a diamond. It's under great pressure and that kind of thing, that it becomes this thing of great value. And any successful entrepreneur or entrepreneur that you've seen will tell you stories of when they were in the valleys, and it won't necessarily be one valley either. It'll be several valleys, but each time they rose.
yeah,
And so these things are necessary. And so what we're saying is, just be prepared.
yeah.
Be
It's
prepared
it's,
that,
it's for me. It's what I call self leadership.
right.
It's the ability to walk with with knowing the fear, the adversity, but still continuing to lead yourself. And this is why I'm saying, when I talk about becoming, it means that we're very clear on what it is that we want to build. What does this business look like, smell like? How much, who am I serving? How much profits and revenues? What does that look like? And I am the CEO of this business. And today, I behave, I think, I act, I dress, I behave, I speak like that CEO of that company that
Yeah.
I'm envisioning, that I have upon my board that I look at every day, you know. But Janice, before we wrap, because I'm cognizant of the time, I think in this space, when we start to talk about the mindset and the move and the fear and everything, one of the things is about us giving ourselves permission.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
got to give ourselves permission to to be who we are.
Yeah.
See, Denise, I love it so much also. We are meant to be more, do more, have more. This morning I was walking around my complex, and a part of it has the bricks, the driveways with those multicolored bricks. And as walking, I started to notice that there are little green grass just kind of popping through the concrete. And I remembered something I'd heard from from
Yes,
Mary
Judith, for
Morrissey.
sure.
For sure, Judith. Yeah, we're just tipping the iceberg. And she said, imagine that little grass that is growing through the concrete. Imagine that there is an angel over it just whispering, grow, grow, grow.
Yeah.
And that's a blade of grass. So can you imagine what's happening for us, the cheerleading that's happening for us?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Janice, Denise, Judith, you're meant to be more. Michelle, you're meant to be more, do more, have more.
Yeah.
And at some point, we got to give ourselves permission
Permission to be that.
to be that.
Yes.
We
Yes.
got to give ourselves permission to
Yeah.
make that decision. What do I? So here is all right. So we're talking about walk away with nuggets. Here is your home fun for tonight. You're gonna think about you're gonna you're gonna think about the domains of your life, health and well-being, relationship, finance, whatever it is. And you're going to write down all the things that you are not happy about in each area. What's my discontent? Then you're going to write out in a next column, what am I longing for? So, for example, put all my business out on the road now, as we would say in Jamaica. Health and well-being for me. What am I not happy about? Ooh, girl, I've put on a few pounds, right? So I'm not happy that I'm overweight. That's my discontent. What am I longing for? I'm longing to release this weight. That's that's the first thing that comes to me. I'm really longing but what? And then the final column is, what would I really, really love? And so as I'm thinking about what would I really, really love in my health and well-being, I'd really love to be vibrant and energetic and alert and sleep well at night and just really have this fantastic active lifestyle, playing tennis and golf and whatnots, and being at my ideal weight and looking sexy in my jeans again. That's what
Yep.
I really, really love. So you see that progression. And once we start to, because here's what I've also discovered, Janice, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Too many of us have forgotten how to dream
Mm.
and how to dream big.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is what will pull us compared. So think about it. Oh, releasing 40 pounds versus looking sexy in my jeans and being vibrant and alert and glowing. That lights me up. So, the homework, just go through the domains of your life. What are your discontent? What are you longing for? And what would you really, really love? Because this is the start to giving ourselves the permission. So if it's your business, because we started this to talk about being an entrepreneur, what would I really, really love? When I think about my finance or even my business, what am I not happy with about my business? Am I even making a profit? What am I longing for? But what would I really, really love? You know what I'd really, really love? I'd really love that in 5 years, I am listing on the Junior Stock Exchange.
Go girl.
No, I'm just throwing that out there for somebody.
Anybody.
So we're gonna give you so many tools to anchor today's conversation. But I want you to do the home fun. Let's have some fun while we're doing it. To just really start to see what is possible for me. Yeah. So we gotta decide, what do I really, really want? You gotta believe that it is done.
Possible.
Believe that it is possible. Because everything you are seeking is seeking you. It is a done deal. We just need to get into the vibration to make it manifest, right? And become. Who do I want to become? If I look back, if I say I'm so happy and grateful now that it is December 31, 2022, and I have become the most amazing, spectacular woman or man, this year, what does that even look like for you?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think we're out of time, Janice.
We are. And I just wanted to share quickly, an experience I had last week. I think it was. I was just meditating on the word of God, and just something just hit me, that God is limitless and God made me in his image. So it means that I am limitless. And so I stick this up and I said, every day I repeat it. It says, I am limitless because God is limitless, And so I forget all the things that has been spoken to me, or all the things that I've created in my mind, all the things that have stopped me in the past. I'm encouraging you to understand that we are limitless, and that's why you'll have people who will come from abject circumstances who succeed beyond their wildest dreams, because of that limitlessness, and that limitlessness comes from God, and we have to just tap into that same, with the fact that we are a spiritual being in a physical body, allows us to tap into the spiritual, into our, what you would call our what is natural to us,
into our higher faculties.
Yeah, what is natural to us is what is natural first,
Yeah.
And so I'm encouraging y'all to do the home fun and just start the process. Start the process, because whatever it is you're dreaming about is possible. And if you've forgotten those dreams, ask God to remind you, because they're there. Believe you me, I know this, because I had forgotten mine too. And he reminded me, and I'm so happy. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm dropping a quote as you were speaking. I am a masterpiece because I am a piece of the master.
Ooh, I love that one. Now let me write that one. Come now.
Oh, yeah. Is that
I'm a masterpiece
because I'm a piece of the master? One of the mindset that requires changing is our definition of and relationship with success.
Yeah.
That is it. Earl Nightingale, who is considered the godfather of personal development, he has a definition of success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Your worthy ideal, and how do you see that? And again, when we think about just even the times we're living in, and social media, and what we constitute success to be, then we have to take that step back and define success for ourselves. What
Mm-hmm.
is it that makes my heart sing? What is it that makes me feel expansive? Not the success that your parents think that you should have, or your husband or
Mm-hmm.
your wife think that you
Yes.
should have, or the success that society thinks that you should have, but success for you. What makes you feel expansive? What lights you up? Success is the progressive realization of your worthy ideal, whatever that looks like. Ooh,
We're over
look at
time.
the time.
It was so good to have you all here. And remember, we come back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So join us and tell somebody about us. Set a reminder, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, what we're gonna talk about tomorrow, Jenny, is we're gonna talk now. So today was kind of breaking open mindset. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about brain set. A
Right.
lot of
So
persons
we're
leave the
looking at the inner
conversation
and
around
outer
mindset.
tomorrow. Right.
Yeah,
So
so we're gonna talk about success habits. So this is
right.
where, if you don't have your journal, we're gonna really be dropping some nuggets of some simple things, that you can start doing just to dream bigger. So tomorrow is gonna be exciting. um I'm
And we
looking
look forward
forward
to
to
seeing you
it.
then. All
Yeah,
right, guys. Bye.
thanks for joining.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.